Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I'm Bunga Edria, and in this video, I'm going to talk about one of the materials from a philosophy course, namely views of educational philosophy about God, humans, society, nature, and science. And first of all, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Bunga Edria, and I'm from English Education Department in the 4th semester, and I'm from Class A. The first point that I am going to talk is about the educational philosophy of view of God. According to the Islamic concept of education, human and God cannot be considered as non-related creatures. Basically, everyone has a religious tendency to believe in the existence of God, even with different names. Some philosophers call him the first driver, the creator of nature, or the first intelligence. And also in the Quran, it is stated that the Lord of Islam is Allah. He is mentioned more than 2,500 times in the Quran without mentioning his subject as the Lord of or the Merciful. Al-Jurjani in Al-Tarifat defines the word Allah as the name that refers to the true Lord of Allah, which is a collection of meanings for all his good names, or Asma'ul Husna. At the same time, Toshihiko semantically that Allah is the most focused word in the Quran system. The theocentric view of the Quran creates the concept of God that regulates the entire content of the Quran. Until the Prophet Muhammad proclaimed, the Arabs had a vague beliefs in Allah as the highest Lord. And the word God is the basic meaning of divinity. And this word was then introduced by the Islamic system so that the Quran used it as the name of God in Islamic revelation. God is understood in that context as another dimension. He gives meaning to everything in life. He covers everything. He is limitless and only He is unlimited. And the next point is about God as a source of wisdom or knowledge. In the structure of intuition, God becomes the center of the thought process to understand human and natural thinking. Thus, the spirit of Tawhid becomes the basis of the search for science. Islam teaches that God is the source of all things. His knowledge and power encompasses the earth and heaven, the visible and the invisible. The source of applied science in Islamic epistemology or the revelation of God, heart or intuition, reason and sense. And the next is about God as the basic philosophy of Islamic education. What is meant by the basis of education is the view of life that underlies the whole activity of education. Because the basis concerns the ideal and fundamental problems, then it is necessary the foundation of a solid and comprehensive life view as well as not easily changed. And the first thing that is required of a Muslim is to know his Lord. Therefore, the primary basis of Islamic education is Tawhid. All Islamic educational activities are animated by the norms of the guidelines and at the same time motivate as worship. And also God as the purpose of Islamic philosophy. When you look at the change is the change that does not change. It is said by Yusuf al-Qardawi, Rabaniyah, or the divinity of the humans, as Goya, or the purpose, and Wijha as the views. He is the Lord of mankind and He is the God of humans. The next point is about the view of educational philosophy on human beings. The understanding shows that humans have the potential to be educated. Therefore, it is also called educated beings. In this point, have discussed that in Arabic it is called nasaya, which means forgotten. The word nasia is used to refer to people because people have the ability to forget. It shows that there is a relationship between people and their self-awareness. Uh, and also al-uns means good or handsome and visible, means that someone is always adapting to the new circumstances around them. And then anasaya nusu, meaning trembling, refers to a human with all his spirit, body, and soul. This shows that there is an essential relationship between a human and the ability to think. Revenue allows people to learn from what they see, to know which is right and which is wrong, and to be forced to ask for permission to use something that is not their right. This understanding shows that humans have the potential to be educated, therefore it is also called educated beings. And also the potential of a human soul in the discourse of the Islamic philosopher Harun Nasution, as quoted by Muhaimin, it is explained that the citizen has several possible tools with different functions that are very unique. According to them, there are three of them in one person type of soul as follows. First, the soul of the plants, which or called al-nafs al-nabatiyah, which has three powers, namely the power of eating, the strength of growing, and the power to give birth. The second is the soul of the beast, nafs al-hayawaniyah, which has two powers, namely the power of propulsion and then muharrikah, and the force of absorption, mudrikah, al-harakah al-mukaniyah, and the second is the ability to perceive from the outside through the outer sense, sight, hearing, smell, sensation of tongue and body sensation, and the capacity of perceiving from the inside through the inner sense, among others, etc. The creation of human on earth has a clear and certain mission. There are three kinds of mission gifts to human beings, which are the primary mission for worship, functional mission as caliphate, and operational mission to curb the earth. And also, society has always been described as a group of human individuals have in common. That's from the view of educational philosophy of human beings. And the next is an educational philosophy view of society. In Islam, members of the community have equal rights and duties. Islam does not know the case, and the granting of privilege to someone or a group of people in Islam is only because of their respect to Allah. And here, society has always been described as a group of human individuals who have in common, both in characteristic and purposes. In Islam, members of community have equal rights and duties. Islam does not know the case and the granting of privileges to someone or a group of people in Islam is only because of their respect for Allah. There are three characteristics of Islam: to return to God, to rejoice, and to respect one another. The foundation of the formation of Islamic society are fraternity, love, equality, freedom, and social justice. The relationship of the Islamic philosophy of education with society is very closely related, and the relationship is very large as a symbiosis that cannot be separated from each other. Therefore, the people of Islam are very responsible for making Muslims whole and Muslim Madani and Muslim people ideal according to the guidance of the Quran and Sunnah. The Islamic philosophy of education is a radical and profound thinking about various issues related to Islamic education, including society. Education takes place in the social environment and is an activity which is inherently in the duty of humanity, and on the other hand, education is also a means of instrument for the effort to form and realize the ideal order of society created by Islam. Therefore, society cannot be separated from education, and on the contrary, education also cannot be separated from society. And also relationship with Islamic education is related to the purpose of Islamic education is to prepare the young generation to hold certain roles in society in the future and to transfer the science concerned with these roles from the old generation to the younger generation and to facilitate values aimed at preserving the integrity and unity of society, which are absolute conditions for the survival of a society and civilization. That from an educational philosophy view of society. The next is educational philosophy of nature. The Quran says that the world was created by the Lord for the sake of mankind and for the purpose of learning that human can perform his function and position as a human in the face on the earth of the earth. And this is explained in the Quran Surah Al-Mulk verse 15, which means he who has made the earth easy for you to walk, therefore walk on some of its sides and eat of the resurrection of Allah, and to him is a place of return. The greatest use of the nature for life and well-being must be accompanied by effort to maintain ecological balance and sustainability. The human attitude toward the environment should be active, using it like soil, water, and air. Okay. Land use for agriculture, as stated earlier, began from the simplest with the century of technology in the present era. Islam gives motivation for humans to use their land to reap the result of land work. And also in this related to the Quran, and Allah says in the Quran Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 22. He is the one who made the earth a place for you and the heavens a roof, and he sent down water from the sky, and with it the produce spread for you. Therefore, do not associate with Allah while you know. And then water, the second is water, is a basic human need, from the use of water such as drinking, cooking, and bathing, to its use for agriculture and power plants. And Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says in Quran Surah Al-Waqi'ah. And the third is forest as protection against floods, spill, and storage of water supplies in the mountains. The water sink into the ground on the sidelines of the rimba, and then appeared it becomes a clear source of water flowing through small times and gathering into rivers. The Quran says in Surah Qaf, verse 7 and 11. And the next is about the view of educational philosophy of science. This will be the last point that I'm going to talk here. Science is a complete and consistent painting and description of things studied in space and time to the extent of human reach and thought and sense. Science is derived from scio, sire in Latin, which means know, as well as science comes from the Arabic, alima, meanings know. So both science and science etymologically means knowledge. As Ravros and Ernest van den Haag argue, science is empirical, rational, general, and cumulative, and it is four at once. So science is empathetic, rationally, generally, and composed into a unity. Science can then be formulated as an effort of human understanding structure in a system of reality, structure, division, parts of law, and things being investigated to the extent that the power of thought, assisted by human sense, can be reached, whose truth can be tasted empirically, and also researched and experimentally. And there is also object of science. There are two kinds of object of science. The first is object matter and object form. Object matter is the whole material that is the object of research, while object form is the method for understanding the object matter. And therefore, the knowledge of one is the same as that of the other. And when it is the object of the same matter, the difference is in the form of the object, which determines the kind of knowledge. In general, science is divided into three major groups: natural science, physical, anthropology, medical science, natural science, pharmacy, etc. And also social science, which legal science, economics, sociology, education science, political science, etc. And then also humanities study, which religious science, philosophy science, art science, etc. There is no such thing as knowledge of God, but the knowledge that God has revealed to us is that He is the one who teach us the truth, and that He does not know the truth. Okay, that's all the materials and the points that I have to talk in this video from the view of educational philosophy from God, human, society, nature, and science. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.